This is my first probably video that I'm doing for an Eagle game before they play a big game, which is the NFC Championship versus the Redskins. But the thing is that I'm making this video because I'm not going to give a prediction to this game at all because I don't do that because, I just let the game play out. So this is what I feel about the game and my little opinion about the game and the players and how I just can't stand media, sports media, especially Philadelphia media, and I can say NFL media, because the one thing that really gets me pissed off is now I like Daniels. Daniels is a good quarterback. I watched him in college. Everybody knew he was going to be drafted high. I think he is the best quarterback coming out this year because all the other quarterbacks they struggled. Daniels should be rookie of the year. I said that long before, probably about week, I say 7 or 8. I say he should be rookie of the year. I know he didn't play well in the last few weeks of the season, but when I went on that run and they beat the Eagles, which I can't stand when people talk about the Eagles losing to Washington because media keeps forgetting to talk about that Hurts got hurt that game and they had their backup quarterbacks and the only thing they did was worry about Barkley. And once they started penetrating and getting to Barkley and stopping Barkley and forcing Pickens to be an average quarterback, which Pickens is not a great quarterback, but he's okay. But he was never put in a moment like that to win the game. The Eagles were up big. The Eagles ended up losing that game because Washington came back. But I believe if Hurts played the whole game, Washington would have never beat the Eagles. I think the Eagles had to lose that game because for some reason, like I always say, the NFL already knows who they want in the playoffs or they want in the Super Bowl. It's already predicted long before then. So I really believe in my heart, because I said this long ago, I said the Eagles will play Washington in the NFC Championship because of Donald Trump's inauguration. And it happened. But for me to look at this game, and like I said, I'm not going to do no predictions because I don't do that. I hate the fact that they're talking, Washington's talking trash. Washington should come in like they did to Detroit and they beat Detroit without saying nothing. They should do the same thing if they want to be Philly. Come to Philly and not say nothing. Because number one, you're playing on the road. Everybody said they have house money, but Washington hasn't been in the NFC Championship for 33 years. The Eagles have been there about a couple of years ago, and they went to the Super Bowl and they played against Kansas City and they lost to Kansas City. But see, I know everybody likes McDaniels, saying McDaniels is going to be the next great quarterback, but they did the same thing to Griffin. People forgot about Griffin, how Griffin played so well, during his rookie season. Then he ended up getting hurt in the playoffs. Then he ended up playing again, and then he suffered in the playoffs after his injury. And I still remember he got hurt against Baltimore. He got a knee injury, and they kept on playing him, and they forced him into the game, and then he wasn't the same. He went team to team to team, and he never been the same. And I want people to stop saying these quarterbacks are great because of 1 year. They said that about what's his name for Texas, Stroud. How great Stroud was. He made the second round of the playoffs and he lost. People thinking that he was going to be in the playoffs and winning games for the next 20 to 10 years. And this year he played, even though they said that they were close to Kansas City, but it was never close to Kansas City. Kansas City was just better. And what's making me mad is that Eagle fans have to stop complaining about Jalen Hurts throwing the ball. First, you want the man to not throw the ball, throw picks. He threw what 18 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. That's a low. He's up there with Daniels. Daniels hasn't thrown an interception in a long time for a quarterback as a rookie. Hurts is right there with him you know. And also, who else? Josh Allen's up there. So I don't get it, right? A lot of people want Hurts to throw for 1,000, a billion, a trillion yards, but the Eagles are running the ball, and the Eagles are maintaining to run the ball. Every single time Barkley gets the ball, he breaks a long run. He has not. I think it's only like only I think a one game or a couple of games that he hasn't broken a long run. But this man has broken a long run every single time he got the ball, and people still complain about Hurts throwing for over less than 100 yards, and they still win. Their defense is the best defense in football. And people still don't recognize the Eagles' defense as being number one. They want the Eagles to be the most dominant offense. Because you gotta remember, just remember when Foles came in the game. Once Wentz got hurt, the Eagles had the number one offense that led the league in scoring with 34 points a game. And guess what happened? Their points dropped because Foles wasn't used to the offense yet. He hasn't played in almost, I think, 2 years. He had to get used to playing football again, and then he started playing well in the playoffs. So that's when the offense gotten better. Why can't it that the Eagles just play their game? Why do we have to put up a trillion points to win a game? Why can't our defense take over the game? Because defenses win championships. Offense just puts points on the board. It doesn't matter the Eagles are up by 30 because even if the Eagles would have kept that lead with Jalen Hurts when they lost to Washington, the Eagles would have only lost what? It would be there would have been like what? I think they only lost like 2 games. I mean, they lost 3 games. In that one game that they lost against Washington, Washington should never even beat the Eagles. But the Eagles are playing an NFC Championship. Now, if Hurts throws for 300 and something yards, I bet you people are going to still complain about Hurts. I believe that they're going to complain and say Hurts did something wrong in the game and not going to give him his credit. Now, if he gets back to the Super Bowl, this will be his second time in the Super Bowl. But nobody wants to give him credit for nothing. He didn't win the Super Bowl. Okay, Foles didn't win. Foles won the Super Bowl. Jaworski didn't win the Super Bowl. McNabb didn't win the Super Bowl. But guess what? They made it to the Super Bowl. Why can't we give credit where credit is due to these players instead of criticizing them all the time? You want them to be Josh Allen. You want them to be Mahomes. You want them to throw for 1,000 and trillion billion yards, but they're winning games. Like he only lost 3 games and he was still complaining. What do you want Hurts to do? Give the ball to Barkley. Move the hell out of the way. That's all you do. If Hurts is not playing well, that's why they got the best running game in football. You know what I mean? Because they can give it to Barkley and they can run the football, and Barkley will dominate the game. Long as Hurts in the game, because people know they do that option, which Washington's talking about. They're going to terrorize Hurts by hitting him, which I really think that's going to be the most dumbest thing you ever do is hit a quarterback just because they do an option because they're going to throw penalty flags because they protected the quarterback like crazy. So you got this coach talking about their defense coordinator talking about they're going to smack up against Hurts. You know that's a defensive penalty every single time you touch the quarterback, right? Yes, the quarterback can be an actual running quarterback off an option, but you can't knock the quarterback on the ground. You can't throw the quarterback on the ground. You can't hit the quarterback and try to be violent with him because you know the referee's going to throw the flag. So if Washington wants to win this game, they got to think a little bit smarter than that because they won the game by coming back because, like I said before, they actually penetrated. They got the fucking Barkley, but the Eagles had their second string quarterback that really didn't fucking play through a whole season with the starters, even practice with the starters, and they end up winning that game because the Eagles couldn't score any points. And now people are still criticizing Hurts. And I'm like, that one game that he lost, he got hurt. People still want Hurts to be this Superman, non getting hurt quarterback. What quarterback that you have seen has never gotten hurt in the NFL? You tell me what quarterback that hasn't thrown 5 or 6 interceptions. I remember golf. This man threw 5 interceptions. Nobody didn't say anything about him throwing 5 interceptions. I remember fucking Josh Allen throwing 6 interceptions. Nobody didn't say anything about that, did they? I see my boy, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the history of the game, Lamar Jackson, do 2 interceptions and lose. I know people talked about Lamar Jackson can't win in the playoffs, but Josh Allen can't win in the playoffs. Did you know that's funny? That's funny as shit. Barrel, Jackson, and also Allen never been to the Super Bowl. And guess who been to the Super Bowl? Jalen Hurts. And almost won the Super Bowl and would have been MVP. Would have had the best Super Bowl probably in a quarterback in history. He still could have won the MVP if they had the old rules set in. He could have still won the MVP of the Super Bowl because of the stats that he fucking had. But nobody gives this man credit because nobody likes Josh. I mean, nobody likes Jalen Hurts because he's not Brady. He's not Montana. You had a quarterback named Dilfer come in for the best defense in the world in the Ravens, and the motherfucker still won a title. Sorry for the noise outside. It's probably a trash truck. But I don't get it. Why can't we win the way we win? Why do we have to win by doing other shit that we're winning the way we should win? We should run the motherfucking football, throw short passes, play good defense, hope we don't get penalized, don't turn the ball over. That's how you win football games. I don't know what this generation want in football. You want us to be just like the Buffalo Bills that throw the ball all over the fucking place, even though they got a good mother effing running back and Cook, but they don't want to run the football because they want Josh Allen to win MVP so fucking bad. Then when you have Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, you don't want Lamar Jackson to play well. You take the run away from Lamar Jackson like they do every playoffs that they play in the playoffs with him. They just stop running the ball with him and force him to throw to turn the ball over so he can lose, so he cannot go to the Super Bowl. This is the way the NFL is. And fans always judge players not because they're winning, it's because of how they're playing on the field. You see, a quarterback is really tough to play quarterback in the National Football League because back then, during the 80s and 90s, and even in the 70s and 60s, they ran the football and the quarterback threw the ball like 3 fucking times. Now today, the ball's being thrown 99% of the time. These fans want to say ooh and ah with these one-handed catches with gloves, but these teams don't win. You got teams that are in the playoffs for a reason because they're good. They are great, not because they got there because they didn't work hard. They got there because that's how good they are. But people want these motherfucking quarterbacks to be quarterbacks that throw 1,000 times and complete and have a quarterback rating of 100,000. You can't do that in the NFL nowadays. It's a different NFL than it was years ago. Now these running backs are saying, "Pay me." See, I can help a team win a championship, and Barkley is doing that. And we are looking at Barkley like, no, we can't have Barkley. We got to have Hurts throw for 1,000 yards in a game, and Barkley only had like 3 yards. And people could say, oh, see, I told you Hurts could throw for 300,000 yards. No, we want Hurts to not turn a fucking ball over, not get hurt, or Hurts, not knowing sometimes what to do in the fucking pocket. We want Hurts to control the game like he always controls the game. He knows how to audible now. People don't see that. He knows when a player's open. Nobody see that. Sometimes the offensive line give up on blocking half of the time, and he's always can never get out the pocket because they contain him. People don't understand what defensive linemen do to a quarterback. When a defensive line contains a quarterback and the quarterback can't go nowhere, sometimes it's not even the quarterback's fault. It's sometimes the offensive line, sometimes, or the receivers don't get the fuck open. You forgot about receivers got to get open for the quarterback to throw the ball downfield. If the quarterback can't throw the ball downfield, what happens? He gets sacked. Now, see, people want him to just drop and just start running, and then people complain about him getting hurt all the fucking time. What do you want this man to do? Okay, he's an African American running quarterback. So the hell what? This football. All right, this football has been built on the running game for over nearly 100 and something years. When football started in 1933. So people think the game has changed because you throw the ball a billion times. Look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen's still running all over the fucking place. Lamar Jackson led the league in rushing, and he actually broke the record of Michael Vick. And people still don't give credit to the quarterbacks that actually are trying to stay in the pocket. Like Hurts is trying to stay in the pocket. He's not trying to be a running quarterback all the time. He wants to throw the ball. He wants to prove that he can throw the ball. But sometimes that he can't throw the ball, but when he's on his ass. And people want him to be this magical quarterback that can complete 99% of his passes. That doesn't happen in football. And people know that doesn't happen in football. This media wants to bring out like the Dan Marinos and the Warren Moons and wants to bring out all these quarterbacks of the past of the Joe Namath and all them like, oh, they could throw the ball. Why can't he throw the ball? Because that was never Hurts' game. He was never a pocket quarterback. Hurts was a actual option quarterback. Option quarterbacks sometimes struggle to throw the ball, but Hurts can give you 300 and something yards. He can throw for 500 yards if he gets a chance to. But he's taking what the defense gives him. He ain't going to just throw the ball downfield a billion times and trying to force passes. That's why he only threw 5 interceptions for the whole year. People don't understand his stats. He only threw for 5 interceptions. Like last year, he was throwing more interceptions last year than he did this year when they went on that big ass 8 game losing streak. Now this man's winning games. People still complaining about what he's doing in the game. Last year they said they wanted Hurts gone. Now Hurts is winning games. Now everybody's talking about Hurts can't throw the football. What do you want from this man? You'll trade him for Brady, but Brady like 90 years old. You trade him for Josh Allen. Josh Allen honestly is going to actually be a quarterback that's going to fall apart one day because he's running so damn much. And he's so big. And all that's going to go, it's going to actually fuck with him in the future because he's not going to be able to run like that anymore. He's going to have to turn into a pocket quarterback. And he has a great offensive line in front of him, great running game, great coaching. And that's what the Eagles have. Great running game, great passing game, great coaching, the best defense in football. But people are, Philadelphia Eagle fans, we are so aggravated when we don't get what we all want through a game. We want everything to be perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect football game. Zero. I don't know where y'all get that from. There's no. I'd rather Hurts throw for 120 something fucking yards, no interceptions. Yes, he got sacked a lot, but no interceptions, no turnovers, because turnovers lose you games. I'd rather have Hurts run for like 100 and something yards, get 3 touchdowns, than throw 5 interceptions and turn the ball over. And then we are probably in the 20, and we're giving them the ball on their 20, on our 20, so they can score every single time. It's always something with fans and media. Media wants these quarterbacks to be these. I don't know what type of quarterbacks that these media want because they don't exist. I want to win. I want to win a fucking Super Bowl. I don't even give a damn what quarterback is behind there. And I don't care if we had Dilfer back there. If we're gonna win a championship. Man, they won with Dilfer. We can talk about all the quarterbacks that won without a fucking teams that won without a star quarterback. And without a quarterback that threw over 500 yards. Give the ball to fucking Barkley. Move the fuck out the way. That's all you gotta do. Let Barkley carry this fucking team. I want Barkley to carry this team. What is wrong with Barkley carrying his team? Why do people want a quarterback to carry the team all the time? You want your quarterback healthy. That's the reason why you got Barkley. You want to keep the turnovers down. That's why you got Barkley. You want players to fear somebody on this team. That's the reason why we got Barkley. Yes, we got Devontae Smith. Yes, we got A.J. Brown. Yes, we can still kill people with these players. But when we're not doing well, you give the ball to your best player. Stop trying to change your game plan. Give the ball to your best fucking player and move out the way. Because you know he's going to break a long run. You know he's going to probably have 199 yards. He had 200 and something yards in the last game against the Rams. And people still complain about Jalen Hurts throwing the ball. Oh, he threw for 148 yards. Who cares? Who cares? Those are some people that sit up there and want to do bets all the damn time. That's sitting up there in that room and they betting on of who's going to pass for more fucking yards. I want to win the game. If you're real Eagle fans, you rather win than lose. This is the playoffs. It has nothing to do with anything else besides winning. You only got one game, and then you got to wait another 8 months to go and see football again on September 4th, 2025. Then you got to go through the draft. Then you got to go through trading. Then you got to go through free agency. Why the fuck you want to wait that long? Don't you want to win now? Don't you want to win another ring? Why are we sitting up here complaining about a quarterback throwing for 5 yards and we got a running back that runs for 200 yards? I take that any fucking time. You got Mahomes probably going to throw for 120 yards, and you got the other boy, what's his name, my young boy behind him, probably rush for 200 yards, and people never go complain about Mahomes throwing for 100 and something yards. And he probably still win MVP of the Super Bowl. Or Josh Allen might win the MVP of the Super Bowl by running for like 500 yards and not throwing a pass. This man throws more interceptions than anybody, but people complain about Hurts throwing 500 for less than 100 yards, but he doesn't throw an interception. He doesn't turn the ball over like he did last year. The NFL is horrible, dog. Fans are horrible. We are horrible fans sometimes. We just can't appreciate winning. And I believe it's the younger generation that don't know how to don't know what winning is. They all it's this betting thing, all about making money and betting. That's all people care about. How you be a true Eagle fan to want a ring, but all you talk about is how bad this person's playing. Yes, everybody doesn't play to up the expectations every fucking year. Hurts the few years ago was up there in passing. Now all of a sudden people, oh, why is this man only throwing for less than 100 yards each game? Oh, Hurts never gonna be a pocket Super Bowl Hall of Fame quarterback because he's throwing for less yards. Get the fuck out! This man win a ring, he will be a Hall of Famer because he's been to two Super Bowls. Foles only been to one. If he just wins one Super Bowl, he'll be better than Foles because he'll win a Super Bowl because he's been there twice. And everybody's going to probably say Foles is better because he won the first Eagles Super Bowl, but Hurts won one, but he's been to two. Foles never been to a Super Bowl, only once, and won that one. So if Hurts win, everybody going to look at Hurts like, what can we say bad about him? Oh, they're going to find a reason to say something bad about Hurts. It's coming. It's crazy. I defended Hurts before. Sometimes I'll be getting upset at him because sometimes he does make bad decisions in the pocket. He don't throw the ball away. Sometimes he'll take a sack like he did in the game against the Rams. He took that big sack and the Rams could have came back and won. I got pissed off over that. But I really got mad at the coaching because the coaching didn't run the football because for some fucking reason, the coaching always wants to pass the ball. For some reason, they want to just throw it. They don't want to run it and run the clock out so the Eagles can win the game and they can go home and get prepared for the next game because they know Hurts was hurt. But they said, you know what, we're gonna give the Hurts, we're gonna let Hurts throw the ball down the field then. Oh, he has a knee injury. Okay, let's let him throw the football. No, you didn't say, okay, let's give the ball to our back. Even if it's the game well, let's give the ball to our back because everybody know that Barkley he had a wrist injury. So you give the ball to Gainwell. No, they didn't want to do that. They wanted to try to throw the ball on a shotgun, which I can't stand a shotgun. I still don't know why they implement the shotgun because they want to protect the quarterback so motherfucking bad. But it's still, the quarterback still gets sacked. It only helps the running game. It really doesn't help the passing game. Because now I see if Hurts wins this game, they're going to look at this game and say Kansas City or Buffalo is going to beat the Eagles because of something that Hurts hadn't done. I don't give a fuck if Barkley ran for 300 yards on the Redskins. It still will come back to Hurts. And Hurts is probably going to be like, God damn, nobody appreciate me for nothing. But if he wins the Super Bowl, I still think people won't appreciate him regardless if he wins the Super Bowl. They'll probably say something bad about him from him winning the championship, knowing or winning the MVP of the Super Bowl. If Barkley don't win it and if Hurts win it, you're going to hear like, oh, why didn't Barkley get it? Because people don't want to see, to me, and I'm always going to say this, ever since McNabb struggled in that Super Bowl in 2004 against New England when he threw up, I really believe they cannot get over McNabb in that Super Bowl. And they feel that Hurts is McNabb. That's what they believe. But see, McNabb never threw an interception like that too, because he has the lowest percentage of interception ratio in interceptions in history. I think he's like number 3. That's why he threw the ball to everybody's fucking kneecaps or ankles because he never threw hardly an interception. But in the Super Bowl, people never got over McNabb throwing up in the huddle. So when Hurts went on that big ass run in the Super Bowl, they still didn't want to give Hurts his flowers because Hurts didn't do this or do that to make them win the game. Knowing the Eagles struggled in the run game, and the Eagles really actually dominated in the pass game. They dominated Kansas City that game. It's just they couldn't stop Mahomes. And Mahomes killed the Eagles. But this game right here, it's all about playing good defense, running the ball, not turning the ball, not doing nothing stupid, keeping that young bull in the pocket and forcing him to make bad plays. Because you could force a young guy that never been in he never been in a national championship. He never been to a divisional championship. He never played for anything. This right here is going to be a lot different than playing at home in the divisional round against Detroit. This is a championship game on the road in the fucking cold. And I know people say Washington is in the cold too, but you got to understand it's a lot different than him playing Detroit in Detroit when Detroit's defense was really bad with injuries. Now that defense was full defense, Washington wasn't beating Detroit if they had their full defense. They didn't even have their full defense. Yes, they played really well against golf. And I said you could always play well against golf. Golf struggles in the playoffs. He struggled in the Super Bowl against New England. He struggled last year against San Francisco in this divisional round. I think it's championship game. He struggled. He forced him to throw. Like, I think he threw. I don't know how many interceptions he threw in that NFC Championship. He threw a lot of interceptions. Even in this game, he threw a lot of interceptions. You could force golf to be a bad quarterback. But this right here is a lot different because number one, the Eagles are playing. The Eagles are playing at home, and you have Washington as a young team coming into a team that been there, done that already. The Eagles been in the playoffs. The Eagles been in the championship games. Washington has been in the championship game in 33 years. This is their first in 33 years. So you got to say that Dallas, which people like to talk bad about, Dallas has been to more NFC championships than your motherfucking Washington Redskins. Remember, they've been there for 30 years. Washington has been there for 33 years. Their last game in the championship was 91. They went to the Super Bowl in 91. Dallas been in the Super Bowl in 95. So Washington has never could say anything bad about Dallas when it comes to being in the championship game because Dallas been there before, been there after they had been there for like 33 years. That's fucking crazy. But you're gonna come and talk about Philadelphia, this, and this. I said, y'all haven't been to a championship in 33 years. The Eagles been in the championship like a couple of years ago. The Eagles been in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. The Eagles been in the Super Bowl in this decade. Ever since 2017. And really, you could say 2004. You said the Eagles been like winning ever since 2004. Washington been in the down, Washington been in the bottom of the cellar, working their way up, and it was Dallas and Philadelphia and the Giants. Then Washington started moving on up. Yes, Quinn is a great defensive coordinator. He's not a great coach. He's a great defensive coordinator. Now the thing is, you know that you can't poke the bear. Washington should not be poking the bear. Washington should just come to Philadelphia, say, okay, if the Eagles are talking trash, you just go by putting that on bulletin board. You don't say shit. You don't come out talking trash, saying we better than you. You know, Hurts is this, Barkley's this. No, you keep your mouth shut. You go and you play. You put shit on bulletin board so you can say, okay, the Eagles are talking trash. We're not talking trash. We're going to go out there and whip their ass. And you win, the Eagles will shut the fuck up. The fans will shut the fuck up because we're the ones talking shit. But that Washington don't know how to shut the fuck up because they beat Detroit. I believe the Eagles would have beat Detroit because they don't have no defense. They played against a team that wasn't a great defensive team. They didn't have their full unit. They were being hurt in the NFC in the divisional round. Players on their defense was getting hurt. Even players on their offensive line was getting hurt versus Washington. Next man up, yes, but you can't keep next man up that has never started or never played. So you were playing against a team that was actually an injured-prone team. Even the Vikings should have beat them to get number one seed. But But the Vikings couldn't score because motherfucking Dalton didn't know how to throw a football when he got to the red zone. But see, that's what I'm talking about. You beat a team that's really good. Number one seed, which they should have never been number one seed in the first place, because Vikings should have been number one seed. See, but the thing is, now you're going against a team that's number two seed that has a better defense than the fucking Detroit Lions. And y'all know this. I'm not taking nothing away from Washington. Washington has a good team of young players. Now, if they lose, there's nothing wrong with that because they're going to build on that. Then maybe they might get to the Super Bowl next year or maybe in a few years probably down the road. Their team's going to be probably up there with Washington, with the Eagles, and also the Dallas Cowboys. So with Dallas Cowboys is probably going to drop because they got that boy Marty Schottenheimer. They got Marty Schottenheimer's son for some reason. Brian Schottenheimer, I think it's his name. So they got him. So maybe the Giants might move up. It might be the Giants, the Eagles, and Washington. But y'all playing with house money. The Eagles are not playing with house money. The Eagles are trying to get to the Super Bowl and trying to win that shit. And Washington's in the way. And I'm not talking trash because I don't talk trash. I just go by how teams are motivated. You are playing against a team that been there, done that. You're not playing against a team that that struggled in the play. Detroit that struggled in the playoffs all the time. They haven't been in the Super Bowl at all. The Eagles been in the Super Bowl. Now you're playing against a team that is hungry to get back. Washington has a young, good quarterback. Now, if they want to promote him as the next Hall of Famer, which they always do for these quarterbacks every single time they come out of the draft. They always make these quarterbacks look like gods. They just can't say, well, this quarterback is young. He needs a little bit more of this, and this. He needs to tweak this. He needs to get better at this. He needs a little bit more poise. He's going to look great in the future. No, he's better than Hurts. I sat there and I shook my head like this motherfucker to say he's better than Jalen Hurts. They said Daniels is better than Jalen Hurts just because he beat Detroit. He had a good game against Detroit, and he beat Philadelphia when Hurts got hurt. But they said that he is better than Jalen Hurts. He has a better arm than Jalen Hurts. He has, number one, they almost had the same similar stat line. Only thing about it is that he threw 25 touchdowns. That's the only thing because Hurts didn't throw the ball that much because he had motherfucker, what's his name, behind him. He had Barkley behind him, so that's the reason why Hurts didn't throw that many touchdown passes. He has only 18. Yes, Daniels has more because Daniels really had the only reason why he didn't throw that much because they couldn't run the ball that well. So he had to throw the ball a lot for a rookie. And when you are playing against rookies, guess who has problems having game plans against these rookies because they don't know nothing about these rookies. When these rookies first start, they don't have game plans of how to stop this rookie quarterback. He's going to have a great year until next year, and when these coaches start game planning against these quarterbacks, and that's what they did to Stroud. They game planned against him, and they stopped Stroud. Now, Stroud played well, and he got into the playoffs. He struggled to get the playoffs, but he got killed by the Kansas City Chiefs, and you saw him play terrible. And now you want this young man to be a Hall of Famer already. The man just started his first. Well, he's not a rookie no more because the season's over. So he's really basically in his first. He's really basically not a rookie anymore. But people want this man to be the next best quarterback. And they say, oh, because I'm not going by race either because it could be a white quarterback. It wouldn't matter. If Washington had a white quarterback that played just like Daniels, they will say that he is better than Hurts or better than Prescott or better than the quarterbacks that Giants get because you just can't just say, okay, this quarterback is good. Let's wait and see what happens next year. Let's see if he could play the same way next year, get his team back to the playoffs, back to the NFC Championship or to the Super Bowl. Then you can say, wow, he is that quarterback. No, you can't wait for that. The media can't wait for that. The media gotta throw. We gotta see the Eagles. When does the Eagles need to be watching the Redskins are gonna? They're better than this team. They're better than that team because of 1 year. Give them an opportunity to if they get to the Super Bowl, that would be an accomplishment for the Washington Redskins. But even if they lose, they still will be looked at as a good team. There's nothing wrong with losing. There's nothing wrong with winning, but to lose, it's not going to make them look any worse than them saying, okay, we're going to wait until next year. We're going to be better next year. We're going to get back to the Super Bowl next year. Our quarterback, Daniels, is going to be way better next year. Daniels is going to say, I'm going to work harder. I'm going to practice harder. I'm going to get my game better next year. I'm going to have less turnovers. I'm going to be more poised. I'm going to be more into my playbook than this year when he's laughing and giggling with every fucking body. Nobody wants nobody laughing and giggling at me. You think these teams like that he's smiling and smacking their asses? They don't want no rookies touching him. Even though he's a good dude and he's a nice guy, but that's like LeBron James. How LeBron be smacking people's asses, taking them to fucking lunch and shit and hanging out with them. No, it's not the NFL. Like Tom Brady said, he don't want to play with players that are friends. He wants to play with players that will go to battle with him. Like he wants people to say, "Okay, I'm gonna beat you." This is football. It's not basketball. I'm saying, man, just watch. Just watch. I'm trying to tell you, if the Eagles win and Hurts throw for less than 100 something yards, they're going to dog out Hurts so bad. And I know Hurts don't listen to the media. He doesn't care nothing about the media. But like I said, I'm not a huge Hurts fan. I like Jalen Hurts. I don't think nothing's wrong. Only thing I just think Hurts needs to do, he needs to learn, because I believe that he can't move that much like he used to, because I think he has real bad knees. I don't think that he can actually move around in the pocket like he used to. He's trying to be a pocket quarterback, and he's trying to stay in the pocket, and he's trying to wait for his receivers to get open. So that's really because when he used to just break and run like he did back when he was younger, he would just run. Now he's more like being more, trying to be more poised. He's trying to sit in the pocket and he's trying to wait for his receiver to get open. But his receivers don't get open and he takes sacks. But see, that's a quarterback that wants to be a pocket quarterback, because McNabb did the same motherfucking thing when Andy Reid used to tell McNabb, don't run no more, throw the ball from the pocket. And all the fans were getting pissed off because he wouldn't run. But when he would throw the ball, people will say that when he used to run the ball, people will say, well, he needs to stop running, like Michael Vick used to do. Well, Michael Vick used to run the ball all the time. They used to hate Michael Vick running the football. Then when Michael Vick started being in the pocket and he was getting sacked all the time, people were asking why he didn't run the football. What the fuck do you want from these quarterbacks? Especially these quarterbacks have been going through this for years. They're not white, and even white quarterbacks don't even stay in the pocket anymore. You see Josh Allen, that motherfucker run all the time, and nobody complained about Josh Allen running. Josh Allen starts running the ball. Oh my God, Josh Allen. Oh, you hear Tony Romo. Oh my God, Josh Allen. He is such a great running quarterback. Oh, he runs when he needs to run. That motherfucker run because he wants to. He has people wide open in the middle of the field. That motherfucker start running because he likes stats too. He wants to be number one all time, and he wants to break. He wants to be the only quarterback to break Lamar Jackson's record, because Lamar Jackson got the record. He's right behind him. Then it hurts. He wants to break the record of being the all-time leader in rushing quarterbacks and touchdown yards. So he's doing this a lot. He reminds me of a faster Roethlisberger. See, Roethlisberger used to stay in the pocket and take on on the whole team to throw one football. See, Josh Allen don't do that. He runs. He's a big quarterback. Yes, he's about 6'6", about 260 or 250 or 240, whatever. Roethlisberger was about a little bit bigger. But see, for me to watch Hurts in the pocket and he's trying to be a pocket quarterback, he's trying to wait for the receivers to get open. Yes, a lot of receivers don't get open because some reason the receivers that we have don't get open that much. Like Devontae won't get open sometimes. Brown won't get open sometimes. Goddard won't get open sometimes because it's great coverage. Because if the Eagles are running the football, that's the best time the Eagles can actually pass, because it's more man-to-man coverage. There's no two safeties back there. But if the Eagles get the run shut down, the Eagles will struggle throwing the ball because of the two safeties back there, and they can play a lot of press coverage. And they can push the receivers anywhere fucking where they want to fucking push them after 5 yards. Before 5 yards. So the Eagles receivers that are getting open, Hurts is going to get sacked. Or Hurts got to put the ball, he got to put his head down, he got to try to run. But people want this man to throw for 300 or something fucking yards and thinking that it's going to happen so easy because he got Devontae and he has Brown. It doesn't work like that. If you got some good quality corners or whatever defense the secondary's playing to force Hurts to stay in the pocket and put the ball down, put his eyes down, and him stay in the pocket with happy feet, and then he'll get sacked. Sometimes I think it's play calling half of the damn time, because sometimes the play calling is ridiculous. Like you on a third one, this motherfucker throws the ball on third one, knowing you can run the ball when you got Barkley, or you could do the fucking push. But that's play calling. Or on third down and long, you travel back 13 yards to throw a 5 yard screen and the screen gets blown up. That's play calling. You got one of the best tight ends in football. You don't use them that much, that like you used to. Then you got Brown. I think probably the best target receiver, big man in football, but he's not getting his targets that much. And then you got Devontae that's always the fuck open for some reason. And you got some good backup receivers. Dotson doesn't really get any catches because number one, Dotson should be getting catches. He should be getting catches because he's in the slot, and he should be open all the fucking time. But they don't throw the ball to Dotson. Barkley should be doing swing passes. That means he should be running out from a swing pass, get a swing pass, and get one-on-one with the linebackers or the safeties or the corners, which they know they can't stop him, or he'll get the middle of the field, get that one-on-one with a linebacker. But they don't do that. They like to do other plays that really honestly it drives me crazy. But to me, I'd be like, give the ball to Barkley, move out the fucking way. If the Eagles got the lead, run the ball and keep the lead. Stop trying to be cute. Give the ball to Barkley when you're up by like 15, 16, 17 points. Run the ball. There's nothing wrong with that. The fans shouldn't even care that Hurts should throw the ball. When we got the lead, now honestly, I still think we should have went after a big back like Ezekiel Elliott because we still need a big back. Because we could take on that, they could take on that fucking punishment that Gainwell don't have to take. Like we had with Blunt and Ajayi. But I think the Eagles needed a big back, and I think they should have went after Ezekiel Elliott. I don't give a fuck he's a Dallas Cowboy. I don't care. I wanted Ezekiel Elliott because of the size. And he would have been great as a third down back. And he would have been great because you give the ball to him and you didn't have to bring Barkley in the game all the fucking time because it will calm down his carries and it will probably keep him from getting hurt. Because a lot of people know that Hurts, everybody knows that Barkley has really bad ankles. He always injures his ankles all the time. So I'm trying to keep Barkley healthy. I would have got Ezekiel Elliott before he went to the Chargers, and we could have had him, even though we could still pick up a running back if we really, really want to. But the Eagles won't do that for some fucking obvious reason that I really want a big back. We could get a nice big back, that we could just put in the backfield and give him the damn football and let him run and keep Barkley and also Gainwell healthy. But we're not doing that. And that's the reason why I believe this is a different team from the time that the Eagles went to the Super Bowl in 17 because we had 4 different motherfucking running backs. We had Clement, Ajayi, and Blount, and I forgot the other young ball. We had 4 running backs. 4. And we won the Super Bowl with the 4 running backs. We only have 2. Which I believe the Eagles should get a big back. Should have gotten a big back, a physical back, throw him back there, hand the ball off, so the Eagles don't have to worry about putting Barkley in some drives. So he can get rest. Because I love Gainwell, but Gainwell is not a power back. He's a scat back, exactly like Barkley. Barkley's a lot bigger than him, more physical than him. Gainwell tries to use his speed. He reminds me a lot of the Bull Sanders who used to play for the Eagles. He tried to use his speed to get away from contact. See, Barkley wants contact. And I believe if we got another running back that deserves to get into contact, the Eagles would have been better off handing the ball off to a big back and giving the ball to the big back on every down, at least about in the fourth quarter. And the Eagles would never have to use Hurts in an option. You could run an I formation. You could run a broken I. We can go back at a time that we used to run some actual formations, like, single back formation. You know what I mean? We could do counter. We could do some real, sweeps. We could do some real motherfucking shit, but we got these big backs. But we're always in shotgun all the fucking time. And the Eagles loses yards most of the time in shotgun. So, this is what I'm saying. Like I said, I'm not going to do any type of prediction. I just want fans to appreciate what's going on now. We're winning. We only lost 3 games. We're in an NFC Championship. About to play our rival. Well, it's not our rival because the New York Giants is the Eagles' rivals. I wish people understand that the New York Giants are the Eagles' rivals and the Dallas Cowboys are the Washington Redskins' rivals. So we're playing against our division foe. If we beat them, go to the Super Bowl, it will be so amazing to see us back in the Super Bowl ever since 2022. But we gotta appreciate our team. We should love our team for the way our team is playing, not because our team is struggling. Yes, they're struggling so the fuck up, but they're still winning. Everybody doesn't play a perfect game. We should just be happy that our team is making it further in the playoffs, which is hard to do, even though we got home field advantage in the championship, which I believe that was going to happen anyway. Because I believe Detroit Lions wasn't a good team. I believe, honestly, and I'll tell you the truth, I think Minnesota was better than them. They just needed a better quarterback, which I still don't understand why they didn't put Jones in the game when they were losing to what do you call it? Which I really think that Jones would have been a better quarterback suited to play, but with Jefferson. But they didn't want to switch the quarterback, so they just left Dalton in to struggle through the whole game, and they stopped running the football. But Detroit, like I said a million fucking times, Detroit is a team that always struggle in the playoffs. They struggled in the NFC Championship in the '90s. Then they struggled again in the playoffs last year, and they struggled in the playoffs this year. Everybody likes golf, but I keep telling people golf is not Montana. Golf is nowhere near perfect as a quarterback. Yes, he is a great regular season quarterback. He reminds me so much of Peyton Manning. When Peyton Manning, the last few years when he was younger, he struggled beating New England. When he lost to New England about 3 times. He's the same type of quarterback. Struggles in the playoffs. He can get you there. He can give you that great record. He can throw for like he can lead the league in passing, touchdowns, rating. But when he gets to that playoffs, he'll win you one playoff game. He'll probably get you to the Super Bowl, but he'll lose. That's what I'm saying. And their defense was so injured prone that I think Minnesota should have beat them, but they didn't. Minnesota ended up losing that game because, like I said, Dalton got to the end zone like about 5 times, and that motherfucker didn't know how to throw a football. Washington played Detroit at a great time, a perfect time of injuries. Their offensive line gotten injured. They wasn't the same team that they were in the beginning of the season, and then they started getting hurt and hurt. They lost their best player on their team is their defense in Hutchinson. They lost him. Then they lost other players like their interior defense. They lost their linebacker. He broke his on his shoulder. He came back, but he wasn't 100%. They lost corners. They lost their safeties. They were losing everybody. But people still think Washington did this absolute greatness thing when I believe that Minnesota should have beat them. And also, I believe Philadelphia would have beat them because they were injury prone. All you need to do is just shut down their offense. Their defense wasn't going to stop nobody. You see them leaving everybody the fuck open. It's funny as shit that Washington had receivers wide the fuck open through the whole motherfucking game because their defense had rookies in there, and linebackers was never not playing their responsibilities. The defensive line was being thrown all over the place because they had a lot of young players in the game. And I'm not saying that Washington is a great win for Washington because it should be a great win for Washington. But don't come over to Philadelphia talking trash saying you're going to beat Philadelphia because you beat Detroit. I see if you beat Detroit when they were full 100% healthy, then I'll be like, yo, we need to watch out for Washington. They beat the crap out of Detroit. No, they played a team that were so discombobulated with injuries. They come to Philly now and they're talking shit to a team that's fucking almost healthy. They lost the ball Payne. He's not playing. Their defensive end. They lost their offensive line. Was the offensive line was probably the best offense. I think it's the best. I think the best guard in football. They lost him. Like, come on, man. Come on. I'm not taking nothing away from Washington, but you can't poke the bear, dog. You should just play your game. You should let the team that's about to play you talk trash. You should not be talking trash because you are the ones coming to their home. You're coming to their dog pound. You're not going to your dog pound. You're coming here. You're coming where that is going to be cold. You're going to come where, you know, yes, you probably gonna probably have some house money, but it's gonna be a lot different. It's a different atmosphere in the NFC Championship than it is in the divisional round. So all the Eagle fans out there, just put a little trust in Hurts. Putting trust in your defense, putting trust in everything. Just let us see what happens. Because it's gonna be a long ass fucking game. It's gonna be a long game. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a very long game. And you know the referees are gonna call it the way they want to fucking call it. Hey, let's call it for like every let's make the game real close. So we gotta make sure that the referees don't cheat or whatever they like to do, or we need to see if the Eagles are actually gonna come out and play the way they said they were gonna play. And Hurts plays a lot better than he played previous two playoff games. I'm off this thing, man. Go Eagles. You know, like I said, I don't do predictions, but go Eagles. Hope we see that NFC Championship being lifted up by Hurts. You know, bless.